Ukraine has recently stated the need for a meeting at the leaders' level. Volodymyr Zelenskyy said that it was necessary to eliminate the current Kremlin regime because, according to him, there was no one to negotiate with and it was impossible to achieve results without it. Putin's regime change. Vladimir Zelenskyy did not specify how to accomplish this, but noted that Vladimir Putin will constantly destabilize the situation in neighboring countries. This indicates that Ukraine will not agree to a meeting at the leaders' level at the moment, even if Russia expresses its consent. From the very beginning, I have argued that, in my opinion, a meeting between Zelenskyy and Putin is impossible. Let me explain why. Imagine that Zelenskyy and Putin meet, even with the participation of Trump and Erdogan. Zelenskyy has KVN, Kvartal 95 studio under his belt. He is not lost for words. Plus he shows anger. Vladimir Putin is afraid of public humiliation. Zelenskyy is capable of humiliating him on live TV. Putin fears this. Zelenskyy is uncontrollable in this context. To understand someone's actions, you have to try to put yourself in the other person's shoes. Let's look from Putin's side. What will he gain from meeting with Zelenskyy? For him, it is a humiliation, because his goal was to take over Ukraine. Now Putin is meeting with Zelenskyy, even though he previously claimed that Zelenskyy was not legitimate. Russian propaganda morally tried to destroy him, and now he has to negotiate with him. Zelenskyy is not controllable in principle. He is capable of responding to any phrase with such a killer joke that Vladimir Putin will return to Russia humiliated. Therefore, in the author's opinion, Putin is not interested in a meeting with Zelenskyy. Zelenskyy said today that Vladimir Putin has finally put himself outside the law, and dialogue with him is no longer possible. A meeting is possible because the world is unpredictable, but it's getting farther and farther away. The Federal Bureau of Investigation recently uncovered classified documents regarding Donald Trump's ties to Russian Federation. These materials were in bags meant to be incinerated. According to reports, they were allegedly discovered by an FBI director named Kash Patel. An investigation is planned into secret documents linked to Trump, just as he declares readiness to help Ukraine win the war, and shares information with media, including Patriot. This raises the question of a possible connection between Trump's political activity and the sudden discovery of these documents. I admit that Moscow may have dirt on Donald Trump. I admit that in the context of escalating relations and after Trump has passed the point of no return, an angry and bitter Russia may release this dirt.
Допускаю ли я то, что сейчас в момент обострения отношений и когда Трамп прошел точку невозврата, Россия, обозленная, ощетиненная Россия, ощетинившаяся Россия, выбросит этот компромат?
Allowing for the possibility, allowing that dirt could cost Donald Trump his career. Theoretically, yes. Practically, no. Explanation. Trump came to the White House for the second time with, according to my data, about 1,000 criminal cases. A lot of dirt has already been thrown out on Donald Trump. A lot of things have been said about him. If Russia now releases new dirt claiming that he was recruited and involved in scandalous events, including the Golden Rain incident in a Moscow hotel, it is unlikely to have a major impact on his position, given his past experience. They can claim that Donald Trump appears on Jeffrey Epstein's lists or other scandalous material. However they try to publicize the dirt, Trump is able to come out, shake it off, and say, "Look what they're doing." There are serious doubts that the dirt exists, and if it does, that it can be used effectively to Russia's advantage.
если и есть, будет удачно для России реализован.
Do you see now as, in addition to economic pressure, will there be a more intensified confrontation on the battle line? Or what should we expect in the coming months? Ukraine has two paths. The Americans understand this well, and the Europeans do too. We need to bring Russia to a point where it will be unprofitable to fight.
Значит, нам нужно довести Россию до такого состояния, когда им будет невыгодно воевать.
This is done by two mechanisms. The first is screwing the taps for Russia, through which money flows. They make money on oil and gas, so they need to introduce a trade taboo. No one should trade with them, no diamonds, nothing at all.
Вы на нефти, на газе делаете так, на торговлю табу, никому с ними не торговать, ни алмазы, ничего вообще.
That is to cut off the access of money to Russia, and at the same time, to give Ukraine all the weapons it needs to launch ballistic strikes against Moscow. I'm not talking about other cities now. I'm honestly not very interested in them.
Я сейчас не говорю о других городах. Мне другие города, честно, не очень интересны.
All revolutions are made in capitals. All momentous steps are made in capitals. So if you ask me, I would bomb Moscow today in the fiercest way possible. Not peaceful neighborhoods, by no means, not civilians.
Я бы сегодня бомбил Москву ожесточеннейшим образом. Не мирные кварталы ни в коем случае. Мы же не они. Не мирных жителей.
Not schools, not kindergartens, no way. I would bomb military enterprises, wreak havoc with this, strike military depots and everything related to war. They hit the authorities with ballistic missiles on the Kremlin, on St. George's Hall, on the FSB building on Lubyanka. Ballistics mercilessly to demoralize the Russian spirit and to twist arms.
Вы представляете, то есть они бьют по органам власти. Баллистическими ракетами по Кремлю, по Георгиевскому залу, по зданию ФСБ на Лубянке. Вот туда, баллистикой, нещадно. Для деморализации русского духа и для вынуждения, для выкручивания рук.
In addition, I would hack all websites and networks, not only Aeroflot, Russian railways, but also all military enterprises. If you didn't want to live like people, use the achievements of Western civilization. You spit at the Western civilization that gave you these achievements.
Пользуйтесь достижениями западной цивилизации, плюете в западную цивилизацию, давшую вам эти достижения.
Let's go back to the primitive communal system. If you can't live like people, then that's how it is. Put everything, state services, everything that is available, the subway, so that it would be impossible to fly, to travel, to go to the subway, to get a pension, nothing. Then take to the streets and go to Putin to demand an end to the war. And then we'll think about whether to return civilization to you or not. This is how I would act.
Идите к Путину, требуйте прекратить войну. А тогда мы подумаем, возвращать вам цивилизацию или нет.
If there's someone to go by then, here's the question. Even if we get Tomahawk, you say hit the Kremlin. Putin will probably be hidden. He's afraid. It's not about bashing Putin personally, although that's the point too. The point is to destroy state symbols. Imagine yourself in the shoes of a Russian. It is reported that Lenin's mausoleum is gone. The Kremlin is gone. The FSB building on Lubyanka is gone.
Вот вам сообщают. Мавзолея Ленина нет, Кремля нет. На Лубянке ФСБ здания нет.
The absorbent cotton in his head immediately turns to brains. He starts thinking about what's going on. He gets scared. We have to act on fear. What have they been doing to us all these years, trying to create fear? We've got kids stuttering because of rockets and gunfire, kids sleeping in the subway. What is this in the 21st century?
И продолжают из-за этих ракет и обстрелов. Дети в метро спят. Что это такое? Что это такое в 21 веке?
Have they gone off the deep end? The war should be moved to the territory of Russia. I'm not talking about the whole of Russia, but about Moscow. Moscow should feel the war, think about it, and get its leadership to do something about it. Putin or not, it doesn't matter.
От своего руководства, Путин ли это или
An end to the war. If what I am talking about starts, which is no longer on the line of contact, we will have to give up Crimea and Donbass. The rest of the story will be very interesting. Dmitry, you are talking about economic sanctions and pressure. India, just the day before, said that it was beginning to reduce its purchases of Russian gas after the new European Union sanctions. In principle, India and China are Russia's biggest partners who are now buying Russian energy resources. What will happen now? What to expect? And can we expect the European Union to give up Russian gas and oil as well? Everything depends on the political will of the United States of America and President Trump personally. If we put ourselves in India's shoes, of course, it is profitable to buy cheap oil from Russia. In principle, India is ready to buy more expensive oil from the Arabs. It has money. If oil floats for free, I'll buy. This is a normal story. This is the market. If everyone is selling at 100 and the Russians are selling at 60, of course I will buy from the Russians and keep the difference. This is a normal story. If I am India and the Americans say that if I buy from Russia, I will lose more because of their actions, I will think, I should not quarrel with the Americans. It is crazy. The Russians say, they're gone. No, I have to strategically make money with the Americans. It's not about losing, it's about not earning extra. It's not about people losing, it's about not getting extra large profits due to dumping oil prices. So everyone will give up on Russia. What other options could there be? I just wanted to discuss one last thing. I realize that you and I avoid making predictions, but it was Sergei Budanov who said this. He says that there will be a ceasefire by the end of summer and a peace agreement by the end of the year. Do you believe in such timelines? At the end of last year, I had ironclad confirmation that the hot phase of the war would be over by December 30th. I said so publicly. Now I will say that a little time will pass, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. There were two people who knew everything. Mr. Kellogg, Trump's special counsel, and me. Mr. Kellogg is sure and will say the source of the information, but I can't talk about it. It's not my level. He will say, and everybody will understand why I was talking about December 30th, and why he said in an interview with Fox Business on December 18th that we are well positioned to end the hot phase of the war this year. Everyone recognizes it, but after it didn't work out, I'm a stickler for making predictions. I tell everyone, don't believe in anyone's predictions. Predictions are made by living people. Circumstances are sometimes more important than people who seem to know everything, but circumstances start to happen. So I don't believe in anyone's predictions, and I say to everyone, don't believe it. We follow the news. You can read the best news in Dmitry Gordon's Telegram channel.